You good? So it is recording. Okay. All right, boys and girls. Today we are going to learn through your iReady math, rounding whole numbers. Just so you know, don't be distracted. This is being videoed. It's videoing me, not you. So just a little bit of review. Who could tell me what rounding is? Hunter.
It's where like when it's to 5, you round up to the 10, and if it's below 5, you round down.
Okay. Can you give an example?
Like, let's say you have
If I told you to round the number 6 to the nearest 10.
yeah, it's 10 because it's 5 or more to round up.
Okay. Now with multi-digit numbers, can anybody tell me how to round a multi-digit number? Alexis? 2 or more. So if I give you the number 326 and I want you to round it to the nearest 100.
That would be 300 because you rounded by 10% closest to the 100.
Okay. Emily?
Also, you can do this if you want to the nearest 1,000, 1,500 and other numbers. It will be more because it depends like on the 500 more, so it will be like 4,000 if it was like 300 and 500.
Okay. I got you. I know what you mean. So the general rule of thumb is you find the place value of what you're rounding. So if you're rounding the 3,500 to the nearest 1,000, the 1,000 is the 3, so you would circle that. Then you look at the digit to the right and decide, do I round up or round back? Okay? So if that digit is 5 or above, then we round up. If it is 4 below, we back down. Usually back down's a little bit, or back is better than down. So if we go in, you guys will see this. Actually, I'm going to give you a few numbers. If you would, do you guys have whiteboards back there? Hunter, do you guys have whiteboards? Okay, as long as you can read it. All right, so I'm just going to give you a few numbers, okay? I'm going to give you kind of a pre-test here to see how well you guys know this. So I'm going to give you 17,823, and I want you to round that to the nearest 1,000. And then I'm going to give you 15,472. And I want you to round that to the nearest 100.
Can you repeat the first one again?
Yeah, it was 17,823. 823. The first one you're rounding to the nearest 1,000. The second number you're rounding to the nearest 100. The second number is 15,472. Yes, Alexis? The first number is 17,823. All right, guys, listen up. The first number that I gave was 17,823. Everybody have that one written down? Okay. The second number is 15,472. The first one, you're rounding to the nearest 1,000. The second one is to the nearest 100. Yeah, go ahead. The second number was 472. This one's the thousands, this one's the hundreds. Give you about another minute to figure those out. All right, everybody got an answer? All right. All right. Just a second. Getting pretty close there, Alexis. Second number was 15,472. Yes, Emma? The first number was the thousands. The second number is the hundreds.
You on both?
Mm-hmm. All right. So with the first number, which was 17,823, who can give me the answer that was rounding that to the nearest thousand? Kiara? 18,000? Anybody else? Raise your hand if you believe 18,000 is the answer. All right. Anybody disagree with that or have something different? All right, 18,000 is correct. Good job, Kiara. Now the second number, 15,472, we're rounding that to the nearest hundred. Who has an answer for that? Let's go, Evan.
15,500.
15,500. Anybody else get that answer? Raise your hand if you did. Remember, we're rounding to the nearest hundred. Okay, put your hands down. Anybody else get something different? Keep that in mind. Anybody else get something different? There's only about half of you had your hands up. So either you had the same answer, or you had something different, or you just didn't get it done, but that's okay. So, Evan, you're correct. Now, Evan, can you explain how you did that?
Well, I took away the 15,000 because I'm writing to the nearest hundred, so I didn't need those. And I looked over, and there's a 7 next to a 4, and 7 is 5 or greater, so I rounded up.
Okay, did everybody hear that? So, of course, it's delayed. I need to space this out a little bit. Okay, so Evan said we're rounding the nearest hundred, so he didn't need the 15. Does everybody know why? Because if we're rounding to this number here, this is irrelevant. Okay, meaning we don't need it. So then he looked here, and it was greater than 5. So therefore he rounded up. So it changed this to a 5. And then 0, 0. So 15,000, that looks like 300 because I'm not a very good artist on this. But so does everybody understand that? Everybody get that?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have any questions? Alexis?
But it says round to the nearest hundred, but you have, but you don't, 12, it says you have to round to the nearest hundred, but you don't have it.
round to the nearest 100, but you don't have 100. Was that under Chrome? I'm sorry. Here? Perfect. Thank you. I'm sorry, Alexis. What was the question again?
Say it says round to the nearest 100, and my number was 12,016.
Okay. Can anybody answer that? Alexis asked if there's a zero in the hundreds place and you're rounding to the nearest 100, but the number given is 12,016. Can anybody explain where you'd round that to? Elena? Or Eliana, sorry.
0.
Okay, but the whole number. So 12,016, you're looking at the zero, correct? So the rest behind it becomes 0. Is that what you're saying? Did you hear that, Alexis? You know, okay, so 0 is still a digit in that hundreds place. So you still look to the digit to the right in the tens. If that digit is not greater than 5, you round back. If it is greater than 5, then that 0 changes to a 1 and it becomes 12,100. Got that? All right. If you open your iReady books to page 33, you can follow along with this example here. Give you a second there to open those up. What's that? 33. Should have a half squirted thing of toothpaste on it. Everybody there? Okay. All right. We can get that afterwards. Go ahead and get your book out. It'll be okay. So, real quick, there's a couple words in here I want to make sure you guys know. Anybody explain what a survey is? Does anybody know what a survey is? Okay, a survey is where questions are asked to gather information so they can put the data together to create their findings. So, for instance, a toothpaste company surveys 36,219 customers about their favorite toothpaste flavor. The data is used to help the company decide what flavors to continue making. So what we're going to do is work to the nearest 1,000 about how many customers does the company survey. So we need to pick out the important parts of this. So obviously, what's the first important part we need to pick out? Ileana? The number, which is, go ahead and read it out loud. Oh, speak up.
36,219.
Okay, everybody hear that? So it's the 36,219. What other information do we need to pull out of that? Correct. Did everybody hear that? Round to the nearest 1,000. Okay, so take a second and show your work. There's a space right below it. It says try it. Go ahead and show your work and show how you would do it. Yes, Logan. They can write in the book, can't they? Go ahead and write it in your book, bud. So that way you can always look back to it for reference.
Are we rounding on this page?
Yes. So this is the number we decided that was important, the 36,219. And what was the other bit of important information, Emily? Did you catch that? Round to the nearest thousand, correct. So go ahead and take a second. Like I said, write that down in that open space down below. And remember the trick I taught you. Well, I told you at least. I hope I taught you. Circle the number you're rounding to and underline the number to its. You got it. Say it out loud. Number to the right. Yes.
Are we rounding the 36? Are we rounding the 3 or the 6?
What place value are we looking for? Okay. So there's your number. Write that down and figure out what number's in the thousands place. You can use a pencil or pen if you'd like. Yes.
This one's not above 5.
Okay. So which way do you go? You round back, right? I'll get into that in just a second. Okay, go ahead and so if this isn't below 5, what's the nearest thousand then? You're not going up. You need to figure out. There you go. So it's 36,000. How's everybody coming along? Anybody need a few more seconds? You do, or you got it? You don't get it? Okay. Okay. So you circled the correct number. Okay. So now the digit to the right is the one that you're looking at. Okay. So underline it. Okay, now is this digit above or below 5?
Below.
Okay. So we roll back. Okay. So it'd be 36. There you go. Good job. It's just 36. No, 36. I'll explain that in just a second. Okay. All right. I get attacked every day. Logan. All right. Well, just a second. I'll go over this because there's several. I just kind of wanted to see how we're doing, and I'm forgetting this is here every day.
Can we use a marker and whiteboard to help us?
Yeah, or you can write with a pencil in your book. You have that whole area to show right in here.
This is sometimes I don't think what to do, so I write on the desk and I write on paper.
Okay, that's okay. You can, if you need a notebook, or you can use your desk there with a marker. All right, so who can give me the answer? Anybody I haven't called on yet? Got some shyness in the room today? Isabel? 36,000, that is correct. Can you explain how you got that? Okay, so what digit did you pick out first that we were rounding to? Can you speak up a little bit? Okay. All right, and then you looked at the 2 to determine it was below 5, so you rolled back, correct? Did everybody hear that? Everybody understand that? So she looked at the full number, the 36,219. Okay. She knew she was rounding to the thousands, so she circled the 6. Then she looked to the right at the 2. Since that 2 was not above 5, it was below, she rolled back. So what she did, nearest thousands, she had 36,219. Circled the 6, underlined the 2. That 2 is below 5, so she rolled back, which makes the number 36,000. Okay? Now, the ones of you that are confused, we're going to go over this here in just a second, and I'll show you how to how to figure that out. Just slid up a little bit further. Okay. So, I actually got a little bit ahead of myself. Okay. So on the next page here, sorry. Okay. What I want you to do is partner up with somebody close to you. Work through these. But before we do that, I'm going to back myself up because I just got off. Okay, so who's having trouble figuring out whether you round up or down? Okay, anybody else? I know we got to be having some questions. Don't be shy, guys and gals. Everybody understands it? I did that good of a job? I don't believe that. All right, I'll help you in just a second. One thing I do, what I was trying to back up to, and I'm going to go back to, how do I get back up there? I'm trying to get to my blank slide here. If I can get up there. That's why it, I think I'm inside of it. There we go. Can't touch the poster either. So, I know we've had a couple questions, the individuals. How do you know what thousands? I know I saw on somebody's, I'm not going to call you out, the first number we gave, the 17,000, number was it? 17,473 or something like that. When you round to the nearest thousands, how do you determine that thousands you're between? So if I write a number up here, say, what two thousands does that number fall between? Dane?
6,007.
Okay. 6 over here or over there? Here? Okay. Does everybody see that? And see why he came up with that? When it asks for the nearest two thousands, what number this is between? Can you see, Mackenzie? Okay. 6,491 falls between 6,000 and 7,000. Correct? Anybody disagree with that? Okay. So if you're to round this number to the nearest thousand, where would that number fall? I'm going to have you come up and circle it up here, so make sure you're confident. Emily? Come up and circle the number. We're having fun today. So circle which thousand that rounds to. All right. Confident in that? Mm-hmm. All right. Raise your hand if you think she's correct. All right. Good job, Emily. So, anybody else have any examples we can think of? Somebody throw out a number. Throw me a 5-digit number. Roger. Any 5-digit number. Go higher than that. Like 15, 20, something like that. Just throw one out. You want me to call on somebody else, or you got one? All right, Nathan. Speak up a little bit, bud. 64,892. Is that what you said? All right. I'm going to really test your knowledge here. Who can round this to the nearest 10,000 but we're going to do this in steps, okay? We're going to do it exactly how we did this. So, what are the closest 10,000s that number falls between? Mia. Remember, it's in the tens, so you got to go higher than that. You're close. Add one more zero to those. 60,000. All right. Anybody disagree with that? All right. Good job, Mia. Now, who can round that number to the nearest 10,000? Jocelyn, come on up. You were the first one to hand up. All right. Anybody disagree with that? Who agrees with it? Agree with yourself. Good job. You are correct. Now, is there anybody that does not understand how she got that? Be honest. Raise your hands. We will help you out. Anybody? Okay. So, Jocelyn, I'm going to kind of steal your mind here, okay? I'm assuming that that's where you looked, correct? And then you took that number and decided if it was above or below 5. And it's below 5, so she rolled back. Okay? All right. Yeah. Forget, I got to put all these things down before I grab the next thing. All right. So, there's one other way I'm going to show you this. Okay? This is called the rolling method. You've heard me say roll back. Haven't really said roll forward. This is called the rolling method. So, excuse my artwork ahead of time. I was not an artist ever. My stick people are not the most pretty either. So, imagine you have a hill. Okay? What was the number in the book for the first survey? Was it 36,219? I'm going to flip that back real quick. Okay. So it's 36,219. Okay, so what two 10,000s does that fall between? Anybody? Boston? I'm sorry. 30,000 and 40,000. Okay, so we're going to imagine this is a hill. Okay. You said 40,000, correct, Boston? Wow. Excuse the poor art I was telling you about. Hey, technology will work, trust me. Nah, I got it. All right. Okay, imagine that's connected. This takes some practice. Okay, so 40,000. So what's the midway point between those? Anybody know what a midway point is? Boston, since you put that up there? 35,000. Okay. Now, granted, I'm using big numbers here, guys. So you can use this with any set of numbers. Okay. This is just an example, and I know it's big numbers, but it'll be fairly easy. Okay, so what was that number? Can you read that number out loud again? The number in that toothpaste thing, I think it was 36,219. Okay, so this is the number we have. It's 36,219. Told you my artwork's not good. That's supposed to be a boulder. Is that a good boulder? I'll take the half yeses, half no's. Okay, so 36,219. Where's that fall on that hill? Does it fall between 30,000 and 35,000? Okay. Anybody believe it does? Who believes it falls between 35,000 and 40,000? Okay. You're correct. So, again, I'm not going to write the number in it. I'm just going to write my boulder or draw my boulder. Okay. So that 36,219 falls over here, correct? So if this boulder's on this hill, where's it going to go? Down to, or it's going to roll forward, correct? It's not going to roll down. It's going to roll forward to 40,000, because if you were looking at a number line and this was flat, you just take that number line and expand it up or pull it up at the 500s or the 5 mark of whatever place value you're looking at. Okay? Does everybody understand that? Okay. So that'll roll forward. Can't roll back, can it? Boulders can't really roll uphill unless they're being pushed. Correct? So if we change this number, oops, forgot my eraser was up. Imagine my hills. This is starting to look like Grimace from McDonald's, and most of you probably don't even know who Grimace is. So if I change this number to 32,219, where's that number fall now? Does it fall on this side? Raise your hand if you think it falls on this side. It's 32,219. Raise your hand if you think it falls on that side. Okay. 32, is it between 30 and 35? 32. Okay. So it should fall on this side, correct? Okay. So imagine that boulder's there. What's its only choice? To roll back. Okay? Not down. Back. Okay? Can it go that way? Well, in this problem it can't. Because what are you looking at? What number are we looking at? What? I'm hearing 2, but which 2? The 2 in the thousands place? Uh-oh. I circled the 3, but that was supposed to be the 2. That's correct. So then we'd be looking at that number right there to tell us where we round, correct? Whether we roll forward or roll back. Okay. Now, I'll jump back forward to where I started to go with the book. Go to that second page, the next page past the toothpaste page. It should be page 34. And pair up with somebody close to you. And I want you to do that sheet, okay? You don't have to do, don't do 3 yet, okay? Do 1 and 2 with your partners. Make sure you look at number 2 because it has A, B, C, and D, okay? So partner up, discuss it, get them filled out. Make sure we keep tabletop voices and don't get too loud, okay? I'll get that. Alexis, do you want to grab your stuff? Come down here and work with Eliana. Does everybody else have a partner close to them? If you guys want to work as a table of 3, go ahead. Here, I'm going to have Eliana work with you. Or Alexis work with you. I might get your name straight one way or another. Huh? Yours. I just called you Alexis, but she's Alexis. Well, that's what I did the first time. I did that the first time. What's that? Make sure you're doing your work. Mrs. Pritchard and I will be walking around if you guys have any questions. Yes, girls? Okay. Here, I'm going to look over your shoulder. Okay, to the nearest thousands. Okay, you got to look back. Okay, because, hey, boys and girls, I failed to mention the problems you're doing. Go back to the previous page if you need information because it's about the survey, okay? Okay. Sorry about that. Yes. On which one?
Number 2.
Okay. So you round to estimate to make numbers easier to work with. When you do not need an exact answer, mark and label. Okay. So what it's wanting you to do is find approximately where that number falls on this number line. You mark it and then write that number. So 36,219, okay? If this is 36,500, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 slashes there. So I'm going to guess this is 36,000, 36,100, 36,200. So it'd be somewhere close to that 200 mark. But the key to it is, does it go above or in front or behind that 200 mark? Huh? Okay. So if you did it in front, you'd have 36,000, 36,100. If this is 36,200, you don't want to put it in front, do you? You want to put it behind because 219 is more than 200, correct? So you need to put it over here somewhere. Do you understand that, Mackenzie? Yes, girls? I'm sorry?
We need one number 2.
Help with number 2? Okay, let's look at it. So you round to estimate and to make numbers easier to work with. When excuse me, you don't need an exact number. So 36,219 is what they want you to mark and label, okay? So 36,000, 36,500, correct? So how much do these marks equal? Count them. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're about 100. Okay, each mark is 100. So if you were to mark 36,219, and you can round it to make it easier. These are going by hundreds, right? So you need about 36,200. So where would that be on that line? Correct. Be the second one in.
So we're going to have to write this right here?
Yeah. So well, no, you can just mark it. Yeah, that's what you're right. Sorry, Kiara, you're right. Correct. And now remember, you can round it, okay? Because these are round numbers, so you could actually round that to 200, so it'd be 36,200. Okay? But you don't have to. You're fine the way you did it. But make sure you mark it on the line. Make sure you put a dot where it goes. Do you understand that, Lindsay? Do you understand what I just told her? So, no. Oh, yep, you're right. I'm sorry. Couldn't see it around your hand. So then you label it, the number you put in there. Okay? Yes. How you boys doing?
It's impossible to get this part down.
What's that, bud? What do you got here?
B.
That's not impossible.
And it looks hard.
Okay, that's what we were just doing up there. Okay.
Oh.
But this is asking for the thousands. That one was the 10,000s, but this one's asking for thousands. It's the exact same thing, okay? So ones where we had them circle. So it'd be, well, It'd be 36 and 37. Hey, Roger. I'm just kind of nosing over here. Make sure you look at the numbers. Okay, it's wanting it between 2000s, not tens. So these numbers are too far apart. Okay, it's in that thousands place value. It's what we just did up there with the, well, but that's to 10,000. Remember I had you round them to 10,000s? If you do 2,000s, it would be 30. What are the two closest thousands to 36,000? Well, 36,219. So it'd be, nope, 36,000 and 37,000, correct? Because you only need the 1,000 above it and 1,000 below it. Okay? Matter of fact, if you look, guys, your number line right above you helps you out. Okay? All right, keep going. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. This is what we were just doing up there, okay? Remember when we had the 4-digit numbers? This is asking that, but it's using a bigger number, but you're still doing it to the nearest 1,000. So what do you think the lowest number would be on that? Nope. Up. They should only be 1,000 apart. Be right with you in just a second. Question.
We're confused on number 2.
Okay. What are you confused with? Let's read it.
We're confused on like where.
Okay. So it's saying you round to estimate, okay? To make the numbers easier to work with when you do not need an exact number. Okay? So you don't need that exact number, correct? So look what this is. Look at the number line, okay? So what is each mark? If this is 500, yeah, but if this is 500, how much is each one worth? Huh? 100. So if you rounded this to hundreds, it'd be what? 36,200. Okay. So if this is 36,000, this is 36,000 what? 100. 36,000. Okay. And what number are we supposed to mark and label? There you go. So that you'd write 36,000. And then make sure you label it, Ileana. Make sure you label that. Write the number that you're putting down there. Yeah, but 36,219 is the actual number, but you can estimate it to 200. Okay. Huh? You don't have PE until later. It's after lunch on Thursdays. Yes. You're done? Except you're not doing 3. I told you not to do 3. Don't worry about 3. Where you at? What do you mean you don't know what to do? Well, you can sit and have a little conversation. Just keep your voices down. That work? Give some others a chance to finish up. Yeah, all right, come on. Stay on desk. Where are we at now? Okay. Which no? That one's easy. Hey, boys and girls, real quick. On number 2, questions B, C, and D, they all pertain and revert back to that number line that you guys marked your initial number on in A. So when you're answering B, C, and D, pay attention to that number line that you just marked. Okay? All right, you can continue on. Oh, sorry. That's fine. Okay, so okay, we're gonna do this real quick. We're gonna find a little open area here. So is 36,219. If you have to, draw yourself the hill. Okay? Draw yourself a hill. So you know your numbers here, your lowest number goes on the left side. Okay? Your highest number, 37,000, goes over here, correct? Okay. So midway between those is 36,500, correct? So if this was your boulder, right there, 36,219, where's that boulder going to be? Is it between these two or between these two? You pointed at different spots there. Over here? Okay, so if your boulder is 36,219, okay, where does that boulder fall? Is 200 between 0 and 500? Or is it between 500 and... Okay, so it's over here. So what number is that going to roll back to?
36,000.
See, it can't roll forward because it has to go uphill still.
37,000.
No, it can't roll uphill, correct? So it has to roll
downhill.
That way? What's that number? All right.
36.
There you go. Yeah, and look, revert back to this number line. You already marked it. Is it closer to the 36 or closer to the...
Is this the answer?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. 36,000.
See, is 36,219 closest to 36,000 or 37,000? And we just did it. Yeah, we just did that right there. Plus, if you look at this number line, where's your mark? Is it closer to the 36 or closer to the 37?
And can you help with the number of B?
Well, let's see what it says.
A rule.
Here, let me see this real quick.
A rule for rounding numbers. Can you read it?
Okay. So the rule for rounding numbers states that if a number is exactly halfway between, round up. What is 36,500 rounded to the nearest thousand? This is okay. So here, I'm going to slide that back for you. So let's look back at our hill again, okay? 36,500 is right at the very top, okay? Well, imagine they go through a gate when they get to the midpoint, okay? So there's a gate right there. He can't go backwards. He has to go forwards, okay? So if it's at the midpoint, 5 or above, it rolls forward, right? Okay, so what is 36,500 rounded to the nearest thousand? What's the nearest thousand? Which is? There you go. Yes. No. Nope, number 3 is not.
I'm just going to X.
Let me see. Well, you're going to do it later. You're just not doing it right now.
I'm just going to still X it.
Because we're going to actually do it together. So, that's all right. All right, everybody done with that? All the groups done?
No. Me now.
Okay. All right, do you have to do number 3? All right. Let's go back to your seats. You get flipped around. Alexis, can you go back to your seat, please? Do you need me to wait? Do you need me to wait, or is he good? Okay. All right. Let's open our books back up to page 34 if you're not already there. Everybody there? Micah, you there? Right in front of me. I don't miss that stuff. All right. So we're going to go through these, okay? Let me find my slides here. This got slid over a little bit. Is there? Oh, that might help me. Right there. There we go. Okay. All right. So, we're going to go through these real quick. I'm going to check your understanding of this, okay? So, you round to estimate to make numbers easier to work with when you do not need an exact answer, okay? So A asked you to mark and label 36,219. Now, does anybody know what it means to estimate? Go ahead, Alexis.
Estimate means, like, let's say, I estimated that, that 2010 was 200. That's
Okay.
a guess.
Okay. Mia, you got another?
An estimate is when it's saying the closest number to it.
Correct. So, for example, I'm out at Walmart, and obviously I don't need a lot of it, but I'm trying to find shampoo. I start looking at them, and anybody know what Walmart's prices generally are? Something 99. So whether it be $4.99, $7.99, when you're looking at that $4.99, you estimate, okay, that's about $5. Correct?
You get one penny.
So then you go back to their clearance aisle and you find highlighters that I've been through millions of, it seems like, since the beginning of summer. They're always 50 cents in the clearance aisle. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get 3 or 4. That's around $2. Okay? So you're estimating those totals. Okay? You just go to the closest whole number or round number, which zeros, end in zeros. Okay? So 36,219, if you were to estimate that, what's that closest to? Keep in mind this number line, okay? Your hints are in here. If this is 36,000, this is 36,500, what do each one of these slashes equal? Anybody figure that one out? Jocelyn? 100, okay? So 36,100, 36,200, 36,300, 36,400, okay? So if you know that by looking at this, what do we estimate this to? 36,219. Mia? Okay, so we're estimating this to 36,200, okay? Because these go by 100, so we're trying to find the closest place for this. So your mark should be somewhere close to this second slash on that line. And then you're supposed to label it. Did anybody not label it? Because you're supposed to put 36,000, either 200 or 219. Did everybody do that?
Yeah.
Sure. If I come around and check them right now, I'm not going to find anybody without it on there, right? Okay. So, B here. Between which two thousands is the number 36,219? Write both numbers of thousands as numerals. So how are we writing them? Anybody?
We're writing them.
If you're writing them as numerals, how do they need to be written? In
Order.
number form. So they need to be numbers, correct? So if you're writing them between, or write both numbers of thousands as numerals, which two thousands does that number fall between? I know we had a little bit of trouble with this because several people had questions. Boston. Okay, did everybody hear that? He said 36,000 and 37,000. Do you guys understand why he chose that? A lot of people were putting 30,000 and 40,000. Okay? You need to, if you have to, we have a cheat sheet on the wall. Check out your place value charts. Okay? If this said, write both numbers of thousands as numerals. Okay, so which two thousands? It didn't say 10,000s. Because this is a 10,000s digit number. But it said between the 2,000s. So we're looking right there at the 6, correct? So that's where you need to decide what are the closest 2,000s there. So it's 6 and 7. Would 5 be right on that? It does say 2,000s. Would 5 be right on that? Raise your hand if you think 5 would be acceptable there. Okay. Raise your hands if you don't think it would be acceptable there. Y'all cheated, besides Alexis, because I said he was already correct. The 2000s, guys, there's two different digits. It's not, or two different numbers. Okay? So it just falls between 36 and 37. You're not subtracting 2,000. Okay? Everybody understand that, or did I confuse you guys with that? Did I confuse you with that? All right. I'll go over it with you here in a few minutes, okay? All right, so C is 36,219 closer to 36,000 or 37,000 on the number line? Eliana?
36.
Okay. And why is that? So we marked it here, correct? Okay.
Because the 2 is lower than 5, we have to surround it.
Correct. Supposed to roll back, correct? Everybody hear that? So she marked it here, 36,219, and it wasn't above 5, so she rolled back. Okay? Last one. The rule for rounding numbers states that if numbers are exactly halfway between, round up. What is 36,500 rounded to the nearest thousand? Alexis. You forgot? Anybody else? Boston. 37,000. Remember the hill method I showed you? If you do the hill method, and once you get to that midpoint, which I think I took it off, so you imagine your hill. Okay? If you're at that midpoint, once it's went from the lower number and got midway, imagine there's a gate there. It won't allow the boulder to fall back. It hit midway, it can only go forward. Okay? All right. Anybody have any questions? Okay, I'm going to give you about 2 to 3 minutes on your own to figure out number 3. Okay? Is that right? Make sure you explain it. It's going to take a little bit of writing. Okay? It says use the rounding rule stated in problem 2D and explain how to round 1,550 to the nearest 100. You seem to be struggling, kiddo. What can we do for you? You seem to be having a little bit of an issue. What do you got here?
What?
What are you having issues with?
I don't know what to do.
Okay, so we just learned the rule here in D, right? If it's midway, you go up. Okay. So what is 36,500 rounded to the nearest thousand? Okay, so we went up, right? So use the rounding rule that we did there to explain how to round 1550 to the nearest hundred. Okay. So what place value are we rounding to? It says it right here. We're rounding to what place value?
Nearest 100.
Okay, so circle the digit and the numbers are hundreds place.
Here.
That's the hundreds, correct? Okay. Now, you look to the right of that, and that number determines if you round up or down. Okay. So what number's to the right of that? It's 5, right? The other 5. So is 5 or greater? It's kind of a trick question. Is 5 greater, or is 5 or greater?
Wait.
Say that out loud to yourself. Is 5 or greater? So if it's 5, then 5 is 5 or greater, right? Okay, so you're going to round up. So what does that make this?
A 1.
1,600. No, because you're only rounding to that. So if you go up, the next digit above 5 is what?
6.
Yeah, so 1,600 is the number.
Where do I write that? Can I write it?
Yeah, you can write the number there.
Right here.
Go ahead.
16 what?
100. 1,600.
Like,
There's just 2 zeros.
like that?
No. That's 16,100. $1,600.
So what?
That's 16,000.
So it's
Here, don't worry about your commas. I'll show you. Okay. So, it should only be a 4-digit number. Okay. So, be. Okay. All right. We'll help you out a little more as we go. Okay. Yes. Okay. So what's this asking? Did you look up here? Because it's using the problem 2D. Okay. So what place digit are we rounding to? Yes. Yes. Okay, so we're going to the nearest 100, correct? Okay, so where's the hundreds place in that number? Okay, so circle that. That way you know that's the one you're rounding. Now, what digit do we look at to decide if that goes up or down? Okay, so what does that make that? Is this 5 or greater? Huh?
6.
Oh, okay, so it would make it, if you're rounding to the nearest 100, is that 5? Okay, is it 5 or greater? It's 5 is 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 5 or greater, you round up or roll forward. So roll that forward and you get what? So your new number is 1,600. So you write it. So you write your 1. Because you know that one's there. So this becomes the circled number becomes a 6. And then it's just followed by what? Zeros. There you go. Now, you're technically supposed to explain how you did that, but we just went through it step by step. But that's what you would say. I looked at the 5 and the hundreds, and then looked at the 5 and the tens. The 5 was 5 or greater, so I rolled forward. That's your explanation, okay? All right, good job. All right, is it all right if I wrap it up? Okay, I didn't know if you wanted to. All right. So, anybody want to be a brave one and give me their explanation? Dane. Oh, you don't have your book open.
1,600 because 5 rounds up and 4 rounds down.
Can you say it a little bit louder?
1,600 because 5 rounds up and 4 rounds down.
Okay. Which 5?
5 and 6.
Okay. So this problem required you to look up at D above. Okay. So to get the rule, this one wants you to round to the nearest 100. So, Dane, which one of these was the hundreds? Right here. And that number, which digit's in the hundreds place value? Okay. The first or second one? Okay. So this first 5. Okay. Can I edit on this? Okay. So I'm going to write this just a little bit bigger. And hopefully I get it correct. Okay. So he said we're looking at this first 5. Okay. So this is the one we're rounding to, correct? Okay. What digit do I look at to decide if this is, well, first of all, it says to the nearest 100. Okay. So what are my 2 options? 100?
You look at the 5 next to it.
Well, but what are my 2 hundreds options that I'm going to? If I'm rounding up or down, what are my 2 hundreds options? Isabel? Okay. So 1,500 and 1,600, correct? Okay. So I'm between 1,500 and 1,600, correct? Okay. So now I look at, Hunter, you were correct there. What do I look at now?
The 5 next to it.
To the right, correct? Okay, so I look at that. Now, is that digit 5 or greater?
5.
Okay. So if it's 5 or greater, what do I do? You go ahead. You already started it.
Change the 5 into a 6 and then change the other 5 to 0.
So what you're saying is it's closer to 1,600. Okay. So right there's the correct answer. And those steps we worked through to get to that was your explanation. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
How did you,
Is it a question pertaining to this?
yeah,
Okay.
how did people start learning how to do that stuff before school?
They came up with it long before I was born. I didn't find out the history of it. I apologize, but I'll try to figure that out for you. But it's been ancient times when they came up with this stuff. Any other questions? Does it pertain to this? Okay, one more.
Like the first time I thought of that I thought like that the 5 was supposed to go under that I didn't know that would go, but first somebody does the wrong thing and accidentally gets it wrong.
Well, then we help them out, correct them, and show them what they did wrong, and hopefully they'll get it correct the next time. That work for you? All right. Anybody else have any questions? All right, boys and girls, thank you. I believe we're moving into social studies next. Okay. We're moving into social studies, so I will turn that back over to Mrs. Pritchard. Did I earn an A+ today, girls and boys?
You did a great job.